Well, hello again. It has been so long. Um, I'm happy to be sitting in my inspiration corner today. Sorry about the wheezy computer sound in the background. There's a fan that's working real hard. But this is my best moment for providing an update on my process for working on Also True, which just, it feels like I'm not working on it, and that's because I'm working very hard on basically everything else. In December, I got a job that is full time, and I'm definitely I'm finding the balance, but it took a lot of reorganizing life, and that's a lot of energy to do, a lot of creativity that I had to use in such a process, as well as running my business and letting it grow a little bit. So all of those things have drawn a lot of my creativity and a lot of my time and energy and even physical space. I had to rearrange my my studio, my office space, because I had my big drafting table taking up a lot of space in here, and with the new job being a work from home job, I had to make space for a whole new computer setup, and so I've changed it all. And actually I like the changes. Weirdly, my drafting table is it's like a relic and it means a lot to me, but I don't use it often enough to feel like it's a necessary thing as part of my art process. I think I could see if I was drawing every day that might be really important, but that hasn't happened in a long time, so I'm not getting rid of it. I just put it away, and I'm just sitting in the corner here with Bug, who's been a little bit sooky. You've been a sooky boy, just needing lots of attention lately, which is fair. But I don't know if I shared it before in my previous videos, the thing that really halted my inspiration and my excitement about working on this project was actually that I came up with this really extravagant, ambitious idea for how to print and distribute it. And I was so excited about that. And I was like, I can't believe I get to do this. This is so wonderful. And then I looked into how much it was going to cost me, and it just broke my heart. It just broke my heart. I think actually, now that I'm saying it, I did mention that before, that I was trying to process the grief of oh, I can't do the comic the way that I dreamed. I just can't afford it. I can't wait for, trying to get funding. It's just got to be that I find another way. So that, I just got stuck there. I got really stuck there, because it means if I'm not going to print it in the way I imagine, then I shouldn't draw it in the format that I imagine drawing it in. So I had to rejig both of those things, and I'm actually only now, with the support of the Slow Burn Comics Mentorship starting up again, and me feeling that sense of I have peers, I have people who I can talk to about this stuff. Now I'm actually getting a sense of, okay, I'm learning about the printing process that I probably will use. I'm sending actually an email today to get a quote on that, which I'm excited for, because once I have the specs, the specifications for that printing method, then I can go ahead and actually plan pages and draw them. Do I feel ready to draw them? I'm definitely out of practice, out of the loop, out of the mode or the zone that I like to be in for drawing. So I think actually the main thing right now is talking about it. If I talk about the project a little bit more, it brings me into that world. It brings me into my imagination for exactly, why it's so exciting. So talking is a really big part of my process. I know people who feel like if they talk about a project too much before it's done, then that somehow takes the life out of the project, takes the magic away, and I am the exact opposite. I'm the project is cool, but I actually use talking about it to measure how invested I am. If I tell someone about the project and I get more excited in the telling, then I am absolutely ready to commit to that project. If I tell them about it and I get less excited about the idea, then I don't do that idea, because I know that I don't have the energy to sustain it, and it's just not that interesting. So I wait until I have something where I'm excited to talk about it, and the talking about it feeds the project itself. Because also in those conversations, I learn things. I learn things based on people's questions that they ask me. I learn things based on moments of my own, putting puzzle pieces together, because my brain works differently when I'm talking, rather than just sitting and thinking quietly by myself. I've got to make the deliberate decision to get back into the mode of making, because it's very easy to just keep saying, well, I'm too busy. I have too much going on. I need to rest. Like, I do. I need to rest, and I do have too much going on, but I'm not going to abandon this part of my life. I've got to find a way for it to fit together. So instead of abandoning, it's more like, what do I need to take care of in the other realms to open up space, because this thing is very important to me, and I will work to open up that space as needed. So that's what I'm doing now. You will notice that I'm a little bit less on social media. That's because I have too much going on, so I'm not there as much as I used to be, especially for my business, but I'd like to be present there in a more kind of nourishing way, consistent way. You may notice that, yeah, like my communications are in general a bit more sporadic. It's because I'm just like really behind on everything now, and I'm trying to figure out a rhythm that helps me stay on top of that stuff in a way that feels good. But you know, it's a constant learning process. Like, something works well for me one week, and the following week I just totally forget it and I have to learn it all over again. But what I'm doing a little bit of is just asking myself to think about the characters. I'm going through emotional things myself, and one of the characters is based on me, and instead of just working on the process of that emotion for my own, experience, I'm trying to remind myself, hey, but what would she think? Would this fit in her story? Am I going to share this part? And it just gives me that little, it's depersonalizing, first of all, so it helps me process my own feelings, because I can think about it, what I'm feeling happening in someone else, and that gives me a bit of space from the idea that maybe I'm feeling it because I'm bad, because I'm very prone to that kind of catastrophizing. And to just ask those questions of like, what would Shiv be doing in this case? How does this relate to the story? What would Nell be sharing with people about this? Or maybe this is a private part of her. Maybe it's an unsaid part. Maybe it doesn't come out here. Those things are really helpful. Turning my mind toward the project is step one. And then when my mind is turning there more often, over and over again, I'll actually find the inspiration to like write it down. So I'm going back to my chaos document as well, which I just cannot recommend enough, that you have a version of a chaos document for yourself. When these times are busy and you can't sit down and like write full sentences, just like, point form, jot a little thing in there, and it will be there when you need it again. So I also am going to read that chaos document to re-inspire myself. Because inspiration's not like it's not random. It's not random. It's not unintelligible. I think of it more like tuning in. Like, when I feel really inspired is because I've been giving my attention to tuning into that idea, to listening to that idea, to imagining the idea, and then it becomes more real and more alive. And that's when it feeds me. I have to feed it first, and then it comes back. Now I just feel like I'm saying a lot of things I've said before, so I'm just gonna cut it here. But even sitting in my little corner with my wolves feels helpful. Got some books I might crack open later just to sort of like stir the pot in my mind, research the lightest kind, the sort of like meandering kind. So if you've got something like this going on, like, I don't know, what's your version of it? What's your version of a chaos document? What's your version of the attunement I was talking about, turning your mind to the thing? Does talking help you or does it not? Like, I'm very curious about all of those things. And on top of it, if you have something that you've abandoned for a really long time, like, hey, I've been working on this project for between 2 and 3 years. I feel like the last thing I did on this project was several months ago, and that in the interim I've abandoned it, but I'm not going to follow that thought pattern. I'm just going to say, I got to come back to it, because coming back is 90% of the work. It's fun to doodle something, but then you're going to have to stop at some point. Coming back, that's the choice that makes the work happen. That's the choice that gets it done. So, oh my God, the Slow Burn mentorship is full for this year. 2 cohorts are full. I was just going to say, come and join us if you want, but you can't unless another group of 6 joins. I can't accommodate anybody more. But find support in your friends and talk to me. I'm always interested in people's processes. So I hope you're interested in mine. I guess that's why you're here. Okay. Happy mid-February sunny day.